Good day to everyone and welcome for another video presentation. So on our previous video, we have talked about the different basic fingerprint patterns. And now let's try to have this fingerprint classification system. So moving on, let's try to have here first, what does it mean pag sinabi po nating classification? Okay, so it says in here, it is a method of attaining the formula in a set of fingerprints placed in the fingerprint card or chart. Okay, so this is simply the method of attaining the formula. Okay, pero ano nga po ba yung binabanggit kaya dyan na formula? So, parang sa mathematics po ba na meron tayong mga formula na kailangang isaalang-alang? Okay, so parang ganun na rin po. So, ano po ba yung formula na sinasabi natin? So, tignan po natin. Okay, so meron po tayo dito sa screen. Okay, sample lamang po ito ng isang fingerprint card. Kasi sabi dyan, in classification, we are going to attain this formula, okay, that is placed on a fingerprint card or fingerprint chart. So, ito po ay isang halimbawa ng actual po na fingerprint card, okay, or fingerprint chart. So, dito mapapansin nyo sa may top portion, okay, bandang kanan po mapapansin niyo meron pong blanco dyan and may nakasulat po na class, okay. So, yan po yung bubuuin natin, yung blanco ito. Yung blankong ito, yan po yung i-attain natin. Dito po natin ilalagay, okay, yung classification ng fingerprint. Okay? So, wala po tayo yung formula dito. Pero meron po tayo. Ipapakita ko sa inyo kung ano po ba yung proper arrangement later on. Pero as you can see, ito ay isang halimbawa po ng fingerprint card and then dito po mailalagay yung classification. Okay? So, dito po nakapwesto yung classification formula. Okay, and now, meron pa tayo ditong isang example. Okay, another sample of a fingerprint card. And then, mapapansin nyo sa taas, ito po yung classification ng ating fingerprint. Okay, naka-base po yan or na-attain po nila yan basing on analyzing this fingerprint or blocking out the fingerprint patterns that they have seen in here from the right hand and then the left hand or from the fingers from the right hand and fingers from the left hand. Kaya kung mapapansin niyo, ano po kaya ang ibig sabihin ng 28 na ito? 28 over 28, meron pang letter M at saka O dyan, merong letter M at I sa baba, and then meron pang number 12 dyan. Okay, so yan po ay isang halimbawa ng classification. Pero ano po ba ang ibig sabihin ng mga to? Okay, ano ang ibig sabihin ng mga yan? So yan po ay aaralin natin dito isa-isa. Okay, under fingerprint classification system. So, ito po yung dalawang napakita natin. These are both examples of a fingerprint card. Okay, pero sample lang po ito. Hindi po ito ay actual. Okay, hindi po ito ay talagang pangalan. Okay, or tumutukoy sa isang identity na real identity ng isang tao. So, sample lang po na nagamit natin for education purposes. And with that, okay, ano ulit po yung classification formula? Ano po ba yung arrangements? Okay, so kung ito po yung classification basing doon sa fingerprints na nakuha dito. Okay, dito naman meron po tayo yung standard for classification formula. Okay, ito po yung i-attain natin basing on the method or basing on performing classification. Okay, in classification, in fingerprint classification, this is the formula that we are going to attain. So, sabi dyan, this is the numerical description, okay, in a set of fingerprints which is composed of letters. Kung mapapansin niyo, it is composed of letters and then figures, okay, and then with numbers also. And then sabi dyan, written above and below the classification line. So, ano po ba yung classification line na tinutukoy dyan? Okay, yung classification line po ay itong nasa gitna. Okay? Itong linya po na ito, tinatawag po natin yan na classification line. Okay? So, yan po ay tinatawag, ito po again, ang tinatawag natin na classification line po. Okay? So, classification line, like a fraction, it is the result of combining all patterns of the fingerprints and recording them, okay, in a specific order, manner, and at the top right of the fingerprint card. So, sabi kanina, okay, or as we can see, top right, it is placed on the top right portion of the fingerprint card. And then, ito po yung nasa gitna, yun po yung classification line. Okay, parehas lang po dito. Okay, pero ano po kaya ang ibig sabihin ng mga letters na ito? Ano po ang ibig sabihin ng mga nandito? Ano po yung tinutukoy nito? Okay, yung letter K, ano po ba yung key M? K, M na yan. Okay, so titignan po natin yan dito. Okay, so meron po tayo dito yung letter. Meron po tayo yung tinatawag, okay, na divisions of the classification formula. So, what are those? Meron po tayong 6. Okay? Take note, 6 po yung meron tayo. So, ito po yung ito po yung i-attain natin. Okay? By analyzing and examining the fingerprint patterns na meron po sa fingerprint card na nakuha natin. Okay? So, meron po tayo yung una dyan. Unang kinukuha po natin is yung primary classification. Okay? Or in other words, PC. Kaya kung mapapansin niyo dito, we have here in the middle part, nandyan po yung PC or primary classification po ito. Okay? Tinutukoy po niyan is primary classification. Take note po yung position. Okay? Yung arrangement. Hindi po pwedeng magkagulo yan. Okay? Kasi sabi nga kanina dito po sa ating binasa kanina, the classification formula, in a specific order. They are arranged in a specific order. Okay, so wag po natin guguluhin yung formula. So, it's very important na kapisaduhin po natin. Okay? And then, ano po ang ibig sabihin naman ng SC sa may tabi po ng primary classification and the classification formula? Okay? Ay nandyan po yung secondary classification. Okay? Or SC. So, take note, sa primary classification po pala, involved po lahat ng fingers doon. Okay? From right to left fingers, they are all involved. Okay? And dito naman po sa secondary classification, ang involved lang po ay index fingers po natin. Okay? Right index and left index finger. Okay? Sa secondary classification. And then, sa secondary classification din, binubuo po yan. Meron po tayong capital letter group and then small letter groups. So, yan po ay iisa-isahin natin po as we move on sa topic na ito. Okay, and then meron po tayo sa gilid po ng secondary classification, meron po tayo yung sub-secondary classification. So, tandaan po natin, ang nasa gilid po ng secondary classification, itong SS po na ito, big letter S, and then small letter S po, na yan, ibig sabihin yan po ay tumutukoy sa sub-secondary classification. Okay, and then meron din po tayo yung pang-apat, okay, major classification. Pero hindi po natin itatabi sa sub-secondary classification yan. Ang position po niya nasa gilid po ng primary classification sa may bandang kaliwa po. Okay, so sa sub-secondary classification, index, middle, and ring fingers po yung involved. Sa major classification, right thumb at saka left thumb po yung involved dito. Okay, and then kapag sa ano naman po, sa panglima, okay, meron tayong final classification. Ang focus po natin dito is yung little fingers po natin from the right and left. Okay, so ang final classification, nakapwesto po siya sa bandang rightmost. The rightmost part. Okay, sa pinaka dulo po ng kanan. Okay, so doon po nakapwesto ang ating final classification, and then key classification po ay nasa bandang kaliwa. Okay, kaliwa. And ang involved po dyan is lahat po ng finger except lang po yung little fingers. Okay? Kasi nakuha na po natin or nagamit na po natin ang little fingers sa final classification. Kaya hindi na po natin isasama sa key classification. Okay, so tandaan po natin yung arrangement. Okay, wag po natin siyang babaguhin. Okay, kasi yan po yung proper or yung specific order nila. Okay, so para hindi po malito, pwede dumiskarte po tayo ng paraan paraan natin para makapisado natin. Or pwede yung tandaan na lang, okay, yung arrangement stands for KMP triple SF. KMP triple SF. So siguro makakatulong po yun na para matandaan po natin yung specific order ng ating classification formula. Okay, so that is what stands for. Pero hindi po yan nagtatapos ang ating topic. Okay, so i-review lang po natin yung yung symbols, okay, on the different divisions of fingerprint pattern with their respective symbols po. Okay, i-review lang po natin saglit. So sa radial loop, okay, it is symbolized by a big letter R. And ulnar loop is letter U, big letter U. Pero kung minsan, ginagamitan po natin ng slash. Pero take note, hindi ibig sabihin na slash lang po na nakaslant, okay, sa kanan. Okay, kasi nakadepende po yan sa kung saang fingerprint, kung saang hand po natin nakuha yung fingerprint. Okay, kung sa kanan po natin nakuha, okay, kung sa right hand po natin siya nakuha, ibig sabihin, ang slant po kapag yan ay radial loop is yung slant po niya is nakahiga po sa bandang kanan. Okay, bakit? Okay, kasi sabi natin, yung opening po ng ating loop is nakatutok po siya sa may radial bone. Diba? So, let's say this is the loop. Kaya ganyan po yung slant niya. Nakatutok po siya sa radial bone natin. Okay, radial bone. So, nakuha po yan sa right hand. And then, nakatutok po sa radial bone ang ating pattern. Kaya po siya sinabi, or yung opening, I should say, yung opening ng ating loop pattern is nakatutok po sa radial bone. Kaya po siya ay yung slash po is nakahiga sa kanan. Okay, so ganun din po sa kabila. Kung nakuha po sa left hand, ibig sabihin, ito po ay yung opening niya is nakatutok pa rin sa radial bone. And same as to the ulnar loop din po. Okay, parehas lang din po. So, sana hindi po tayo malito sa symbols ng ating loop pattern. Okay, so di bale, i-practice natin yan as we move on. Okay, and wala namang problema dito sa words natin kasi wala po tayong symbols na wala po tayong symbol actually na ginagamit. Ang meron tayo is letters. Okay, so sa plain word, it is represented by big letter W. Okay, central pocket loop word is represented by big letter C, and double loop word is big letter D, and accidental word is big letter X. Okay, and yan po yung sa whorls. And sa arches family naman po, meron tayong dalawa, which is plain arch. It is represented by big letter A, and then tented arch, represented po siya ng big letter T. Okay? So, sana po ay wag nating kalimutan ang mga to. And with that, simulan na po natin yung classification. Simulan po nating buuin yung classification formula. Okay, so unahin po muna natin sa primary classification. Okay, so sa primary classification, ano po ba ang gagawin natin dito? Okay, so what are we going to do in here? So tignan po natin, what are we going to achieve in here or we need to attain in here? So, sabi po dito, it is said to be as the result of the summation of all numerical values, okay, assigned to whorls. So, take note, the one that we are going to consider, or the fingerprint pattern that we are going to consider, is or are whorls, okay, appearing in a fingerprint chart, which are expressed as numerators and denominators, okay, plus the pre-established fraction of 1 over 1. Okay, so balikan po natin yung classification formula ulit. Okay, so sabi natin kanina, ito po yung classification formula natin in a specific order. So, ang i-attain po natin is yung primary classification po muna. Okay, nabanggit po sa primary classification, ang sabi dyan is we are going to attain by finding out, okay, the summation of all the word pattern that we can find. Okay, so aside from that, binanggit po meron pong numerator at saka denominator. Okay, take note, ito ulit ay yung ating classification line, di ba? C line or classification line po natin. So, with that, yung nasa taas po, yun po yung numerator. So, mathematics, sa fractions, meron po tayong numerator and denominator. Same lang po dito sa ating fingerprint. Okay? In studying fingerprint. So, meron din po tayong numerator, which is yung nasa taas. And then, yung nasa baba po ay, yan po din yung denominator na tinatawag natin. Okay? So, tanong dyan is, ano po yung i-consider natin as numerator and denominator? Ibig sabihin po ba, yung right hand is the numerator or the fingerprint patterns found in the right hand are considered to be the numerators? And the fingerprint patterns found in the left hand are considered to be the denominators? Yun po ba yung yun po ba yung ibig sabihin niyan sa primary classification? So, ang sagot po ay hindi. Okay? So, hindi po ganon yon sa primary classification. So, tandaan po natin, ano po yung i-consider natin as numerator. Okay? And ano po yung i-consider natin or ano po yung nandyan sa denominator. Okay? So, puntahan po natin muna ito again, itong classification. Fingerprint card, I should say. So, take note, ang pinaka-focus po natin, okay, in attaining the classification of the fingerprint is itong 10 boxes po na ito. Okay? These are the main focus po natin. Okay? So, ito po yung pinaka-focus natin para ma-attain natin yung classification. So, sa boxes po na ito, yung nasa taas, okay? Yung nasa taas po, itong mga nasa taas, ay ito po yung nakuha natin na fingerprint coming from the different fingers on our right hand. Okay? So, yung nasa taas, right hand po yan. Okay? And yung nasa baba naman po ay nakuha po natin sa left hand. Okay? So, wag po nating kalimutan. So, again, sa taas, yung nasa taas, yun yung mga fingerprint patterns that was taken from the fingers on the right hand, and sa baba ay nakuha naman po sa left hand. Okay, so ito po yung pinaka-main focus natin. Okay, again, yan. So, ngayon, ano po ulit yung numerator dito and then denominator? Okay, so para mas madali po nating maintindihan, okay, gumamit po tayo ng simple illustration. Okay, kasi ito po yung actual fingerprint card. Okay, sample of an actual fingerprint card. So ngayon, okay, ang gagawin po natin ay gagawa po tayo ng simpleng illustration dito. So sabi nga natin kanina, yung focus natin is yung 10 boxes na yun. Wherein the fingerprints that was taken from the right and left hand po tayo. Okay, kaya ganito po yung illustration natin. So, with that, ano po yung i-consider natin as numerator and denominator? Masasagot po natin yan as we go on here. So, unahin po muna natin, paano po ba yung numbering ng fingers natin? Okay, asan po ba ang finger 1? Ano po bang finger ang considered to be as finger number 2, finger number 3, and so on. So, kapisaduhin po natin dito. Okay, so, meron po tayo, sabi natin, dito is taken from the right hand. Okay, kaya R thumb yung nakasulat dyan. So, the right thumb, I should say, is considered to be finger number 1. Okay, and then right index finger is considered to be as finger number 2. And right middle finger considered to be as finger number 3. And so on po yan. Dire-diretso hanggang sa right little finger. And right ring finger, F4, right little finger, F5, or finger number 5. Now, hindi po tayo dediretso sa baba. Okay, baka malito po tayo. ang sabihin natin na finger number 6 ay si left little finger. So, hindi po. Ang gagawin po natin is dito po tayo magpo-proceed. Magpo-proceed po tayo sa kabila, which is doon sa left thumb po natin. Okay? Hindi sa left little finger. So, punta po tayo doon. The left thumb is considered to be the finger number 6 and succeeding na po yan hanggang sa left little finger. So, sana po huwag tayong malilito dyan. Okay? So, finger number 10 is the left little finger. So, tandaan po ninyo. Okay? Huwag tayong malilito. Right thumb, finger number 1, and then the ending, okay, or the last, or the finger number 10 is the left little finger. Okay? So, ganun po yung numbering niya. Okay, ganun po yung numbering ng ating fingers. Okay, and now, asan po dyan ang numerator and denominator? Okay, so meron po tayo dito yung tinatawag na even fingers. So, ano yung tinatawag natin na even fingers? Okay, and ano yung tinatawag na odd fingers? Okay, so sa math po natin, sa numbers po natin, ay meron tayong odd number and even number. So, odd numbers, those numbers that cannot be divided into 2. I mean, exactly into 2. Tulad na lang ng 3. Kapag dinivide mo yan ng 2, ang sagot is 1.5, di ba? So, it's not exact number. Okay, kaya that is an odd number. 3, 5, 1, those are odd numbers. Even numbers po ay yung numbers that can be divided exactly into 2. Katulad ng number 2. 2 divided by 2 is, the answer is 1. Diba? Exact number po siya. Okay? 4 divided by 2 is equal to 2. Okay? So, exact number din po. And then, ganun din po sa 6 divided by 2, 3 po ang sagot. That is an exact number. Okay? So, again, sa primary classification, tandaan po natin, sa primary classification, the ones that are considered as even numbers, I mean, numerator are those even fingers. Okay? So, even fingers po muna tayo. So, that is F2, F4, F6, F8, and F10. Those are the even fingers. Okay? And that is our numerator. And denominator, those odd fingers. So, ano yun? Finger 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. And that composes the denominator in primary classification. Okay. And meron din tayong nabanggit kanina sa primary classification. Summation, sabi dyan, summation of all numerical values. Summation of all numerical values. Ano po ang ibig sabihin nun? Ano po ba yung assigned numerical values ng bawat fingers natin? So, meron po tayo dito sa taas. Okay, so sabi dyan, for the right thumb, ang numerical value po niyan is 16. Okay, succeeding din po. Ganon din po sa right index finger. So, yan is 16 din po. Okay, so both fingers, they have numerical value of 16. And then the following two fingers, okay, they are having a numerical value of 8. Right middle and right ring finger, 8 po yung numerical value. Okay, and then finger 5 or right little finger, and then finger 6 or left thumb po natin, they have a numerical value of 4. Okay, kapisaduhin po natin. And then, ganun din po sa left index and left middle finger, magka-partner po yan. They are having a numerical value of 2. And then, lastly, we have your left little finger, we have your left ring finger and left little finger. They are having a numerical value of 1. Okay, so ganun po yung assigning ng numerical values ng fingers natin. So, wag po tayong malilito. Okay, from the right thumb and right index, i-divide po lang natin their assigned numerical value is 16. Ang gawin po natin, i-divide natin into 2 para makuha po natin yung para sa right middle and right ring finger. So, ang magiging sagot, 16 divided by 2 is 8. Okay, kaya 8 po yung numerical values. Ganun din po sa right little finger and thumb. 8 divided by 2, ang numerical value po nila is 4. And then sa left index and left middle finger, okay, 4 divided by 2, the answer is 2. Okay? And the last one, okay, 2 divided by 1, 2 divided by 2 is 1. Okay? So that is the numerical value for the 2 remaining fingers. So pwede nyo pong magawa yun. Pag tinandaan po natin yun, pwede natin siyang makapisado kahit pa nakapikit po yung mata natin or wala tayong guide. Okay? So ngayon, nalaman na natin yung numbering, okay, and then numerical values, okay. So sa ngayon, we are going, or we can, I can say that we can already try, or we can already attain the primary classification, perform classification, and then or perform blocking out, and of course the process in classification, process in attaining the classification, okay. And then we can be able, okay, or we will be able to attain already primary classification this time. Okay, so bakit kaya? Okay, nalaman naman na given naman po yung sagot na dito. Okay, bakit kaya sabi dyan ang primary classification natin is 4 over 20? Okay, so we are going to have that here by this step by step. Okay, or by following this step by step process with the following formulas. Okay. So, paano kaya nakuha ang 4 over 20? Okay, so simple lang naman po. Sabi dyan kasi sa primary classification, summation of all numerical values of whirls. So, ang i-consider po natin is whirl lang po. Whirl pattern. So, tignan po natin, meron po bang whirls dito? As we can see, meron po tayong mga whirls, di ba? So, meron tayong big letter W dito. Ano po ang ibig sabihin yan? Plain whirls. So, isasama po ba natin sa summation? Yes, of course. Ano po naman kaya ang ibig sabihin ng big letter T na ito? Okay? So, big letter T stands for tented arch. Yan ba ay whirl? Isasama ba natin? So, hindi po natin siya isasama sa fingerprint, sa primary classification. Okay, sa right middle, ano po ang pattern na nakita natin? That is an ulnar, okay, so, pattern po yan, yung opening niya is nakatutok sa radial bone. Okay, kaya yan, that is a radial loop. Okay, radial loop. So, kasama po ba yan sa counting? Hindi. Same as here, nakuha sa right ring finger, then the pattern is radial loop. Kasama ba yan? Hindi pa rin. Hindi natin isasama kasi whirl lang po yung isasama natin sa primary classification. Okay, and then sa right little finger, anong pattern ito? Okay, anong pattern yung nakuha natin? That is an ulnar loop. Okay, kasama ba? Hindi, kasi hindi po yan whirl. Sa left thumb po natin, finger number 6, ano pong pattern ito? Okay? So, yung opening po niya is nakatutok po. Nakuha po sa left thumb. And then, yung opening po niya is nakatutok po sa radial bone. Okay? Kaya, ang sagot po natin, this is an ulnar, this is a radial loop. And then, isasama po ba natin? Hindi. Disregarded yan. Okay? And then, ano po ang ibig sabihin ng W again? Plain whirl. So, kasama yan. Kasama po ang finger number 7. And, meron po tayong letter C dito. What does C stands for? So, we have central pocket loop whirl. Okay? Ano po, is it a whirl? Okay, so ang sagot po ay yes. That is a whirl. Okay, di ba? That is still a whirl pattern. Central pocket loop whirl. And meron din tayong big letter D. Ano na ulit po yung ibig sabihin ng letter D? That is a double loop whirl. Di ba? So yan, is it a whirl? Then still yan po ay whirl pa rin. Kaya isasama natin sa summation. And lastly, finger number 10, that is also a whirl. Kaya isasama po natin sa summation. So, disregarded po yung 5 fingers na ito. Diba? Kasi they are not a whirl pattern. So now, we are going to follow this formula. Okay? Unahin natin sa numerator. So, finger number 2, ano po ba ang pattern ng finger number 2? Okay, tented arch. So, 0 po. Wala po siyang, hindi po siya whirl. Kaya wala po siyang numerical value or hindi po natin i-count yung numerical value niya. So, 0. That's why 0 yung nilagay dito. And finger number 4. Is it a whole? Wala din po. Okay, so hindi rin siya whole. Moving on, finger number 6. Is it a whole? Okay, sagot, hindi rin. Okay, and moving on finger number 8. Oh, so meron po tayo ditong central pocket loophole. And ano po yung, since it is a whole, ano po yung numerical value niya? That is number 2. Okay, kaya ilalagay po natin number 2 dyan. And then meron po tayo dito yung panghuli, finger number 10. Ano po yung equivalent niya? That is number 1. Okay, whole or plain whole siya, kaya i-count natin yung summation niya or yung numerical value niya, I should say. So that, yun, nakuha na po natin. Okay, nakuha po natin yung na-establish po natin yung sa numerator. And ang gagawin lang po natin is ito total natin. Okay, and with that, puntahan po natin yung sa denominator. Okay, again, add fingers. So, finger number 1, is it a whole? So, yes, that is a whole. So, ang sagot po is 16. Kasi, yan po yung numerical value ng finger number 1. Okay, so isasama natin sa summation. Finger number 3, is it a whole? So, hindi po. Finger number 5, whole ba yan? Hindi rin, that is a loop. And then, finger number 7, is it a whole? Yes, that is a whole. And that it has a numerical value of 2. And the last one, finger number 9, is it a whole? The answer is yes. That's why we are going to count it, or we are going to add its numerical value, which is number 1. Okay, so with that, meron na po tayong total. Ang gagawin na po natin is ito total na po natin yung nakuha natin. Okay, na numerical values. So again, 2 plus 1 is 3. So that is for the numerator. And then 16 plus 2, 18 plus 1. That's why we have here 19. Okay, pero hindi po dyan nag-e-end. Kasi sabi dyan, balikan natin yung definition ng primary classification. Okay, sabi dyan, as expressed as numerators and denominators plus the pre-established fraction of 1 over 1. Okay, or automatically, we have an arbitrary count of 1 added. Okay, so ano po ang purpose? Bakit kailangan natin lagyan, okay, ng arbitrary count of 1 dito? Okay, kaya kung mapapansin niyo, automatic plus 1. Parang kumbaga sa pag-compute ng teacher niyo ng grade, automatic na kung kayo ay present lagi, meron silang bonus point. Okay, parang automatic plus points. Okay, so ganun din po dito, arbitrary count of number 1. So hindi po natin tatanggalin ito. So, ano po ang dahilan? Okay, that is to avoid this, okay? For us not to mistakenly identify, okay, that zero number into letter O. Kasi paano na lang kapag lahat po nito ay, sa patterns natin, wala po tayong makikitang word, di ba? So, wala tayong numerical values. So, 0 lahat. So, ibig sabihin, ang maging primary classification natin is 0, 0. Pero yan, sa ibang classification kasi natin, meron tayong letter O na symbol naman. Okay? Ang 0 at saka O ay medyo confusing, di ba? Yung letter O at saka 0, medyo confusing. Kaya to avoid that, merong arbitrary count sa primary classification natin na 1. Okay? So, to avoid 0 over 0 primary classification and ma-mistake, hindi tayo magkamali, okay? In the other classifications also. Okay? Kaya, ang mangyayari dyan, 3 plus 1 and then 19 plus 1, ang magiging primary classification po natin is 4 over 20. So, yun po yung ilalagay natin sa classification. Okay? And with that, ito po yung steps kung paano natin makukuha yung primary classification. Okay, so wag po ninyong kakalimutan. Always merong arbitrary count of 1. Okay, so let's try to have here an example. Again, let's try to have here another example. So, ang sabi natin, finger 1 po ay yung right thumb natin. Okay, so this is this is our right, this is taken from the right hand, diba? Right hand, and then left hand po ito. Okay, so with that, ano po yung fingers na meron tayo dito? The thumb, and then we have here the right thumb, we have here the right thumb, and then we have here the left thumb. Okay, and then we have here the left little finger. Okay, so we have here the left little finger, and then we have here the right little finger. Okay, so succeeding po yung mga to. Okay, so right thumb, index, middle, and then we have here the ring finger and then the little finger. Ganon din po sa baba. So now, ano po yung numerical values? Unahin po natin yung numbering muna. So finger 1 is this. Finger 2 is for the index finger. Finger 3 is for the right middle finger. Finger 4 is for the right ring finger. And then finger 5 po natin is on the right little finger. Okay, and then we have here, finger number 6 po natin is yung ating left thumb. Okay, and then finger number 7 po natin is yung ating left index finger. Okay, finger number 7. And finger 8 po natin is yung right middle finger. Okay, so finger 7 is index finger, left index finger, and then finger 8 is left middle finger. Finger 9 po natin is ang ating left left ring finger, and finger 10 po natin is yung ating left little finger. Okay, so nalagay po natin yung numbering na. So now, ano po yung numerical values again? So sabi natin from the right thumb, okay, and the right index finger, ang ating numerical values is 16, di ba? 16 po yan. So 16. And paano natin makukuha yung succeeding two fingers? Okay, yung numerical values nila. So 16 divided by 2, ang sagot po ay 8, di ba? 8. And how about the succeeding two fingers again? On the right little finger and then the left thumb. So, ang sagot po, 8 divided by 2 is 4. Okay, so numerical value is 4. And then with that, finger 7 in finger 8, ano po ang numerical values? 4 divided by 2. Then the answer is 2. Okay, and then that is their numerical value. And 2 divided by 1, their numerical value is 1. Here. Okay, so let's try to have here, or let's try to say, okay, na yung mga nakuha natin na pattern dito, okay, sabihin natin sa right thumb, nakakuha tayo ng pattern na plain whirl again. Okay, so W. And then sa finger number 2, or right index finger, nakakuha tayo ng pattern na, yung nakuha na, yung meron dyan na fingerprint pattern is, sabihin natin, central pocket loop whirl. Okay, and then finger number 3, nakakuha tayo ng anong pattern? Sabihin natin, radial loop. And then ulnar loop, finger number 4. And then finger number 5, okay, sabihin natin, nakakuha tayo ng accidental whirl. Okay, and then finger number 4, finger number 6, nakakuha tayo ng, sabihin natin, double loop whirl. Okay, and then dito naman, radial loop, ulnar loop, okay, plain whirl, and tented arch. Okay, so let's say ganun po yung mga nakuha natin na patterns. Okay, so ngayon, i-accomplish po na natin, i-perform ulit natin. Okay, yung sa numerator natin, ang sabi natin dyan is numerator and denominator. Okay, ano yung composition yan? So, numerator is involved po dyan yung even fingers. So, magsimula po tayo sa finger number 2. So, finger number 2. Again, this is a central pocket loop whirl. So, is it a whirl? Okay, so yan po ay isasama natin kasi yan ay whirl po. Okay, and then sa kabila, finger number 4, is it a whirl? So, hindi po. Kaya ang gagawin, 0 po yung numerical value. And then finger number 6, is it a whirl? Yes, tama po. That is a whole. Kaya ang sagot po natin is, ang numerical value niya ay isasama natin, which is 4. Finger number 8, is it a whole? Hindi po. Yan ay ulnar loop. Kaya ang sagot is 0 numerical value. And then sa finger number 10, is it a whole? Hindi po. Yan po ay tented arch. Kaya 0 po yung sagot dyan. Okay? Or 0 po yung numerical value niya. And then moving on, sa denominator naman natin. Okay? Sabi natin sa denominator, those are the odd fingers. Diba? So, odd fingers, magsimula po tayo sa finger number 1. So, is it a whole, yung finger number 1? Yes po. That is 16 ang numerical value. And finger number 3, is it a whole? Hindi po. Yan po ay radial loop. Kaya 0 numerical value. And then sa finger number 5 po natin, is it a whole? Yes, that is an accidental whorl. And still whorl po yan. So, isasama po natin yan. Okay, so plus the next one, finger number 7, is it a whorl? Okay, whorl po ba ito? So, no, that is a radial loop. So, ang magiging sagot po natin is, yan, yung numerical value niya is 0 kasi hindi po yan whorl. And lastly, finger number 9, that is a whorl. Kaya, isasama po natin yung numerical numerical value niya, which is 1. Okay, and then magiging sagot po natin, i-add po natin, that is 20. And denominator is 21. Okay, 16 plus 4 plus 1, that is 21. And now, we have here the arbitrary count of 1. Okay, we are going to add 1 on the numerator and denominator. Kaya ang magiging sagot po natin is 21 over 22 po ang ating primary classification. So, yun po yung ilalagay natin sa dito na. Okay? The primary classification is 21 over 22 already. Okay, so ganun po natin makukuha yung primary classification. Okay, so ano po yung, yun po yung basic steps. Okay, so ngayon meron tayo yung mga rules naman on amputation and fingerprint missing at birth. So paano kapag wala siyang right index finger, pero meron siyang left index finger. Okay? Whether yan po ay missing at birth or yan po ay naputol. Okay? Or because of an accident, kaya naputol yung kamay niya, na-amputate. Okay? So, ano po yung gagawin? Sabi dyan, if one finger is amputated or missing at birth, the classification is based on the opposite finger with the numerical value. But take note, the numerical value of the amputated finger or the fingerprint missing at birth must not be changed. So, hindi po natin babaguhin. Okay, same pa rin po yung numerical values in here. Okay, wala po tayong gagalawin. Yun po ang sabi dyan sa rule natin. So, gumawa po tayo ng example. Okay, so, baguhin lang po natin ng konti. Gawa po tayo ng example. Okay, so, let's say, okay, so, sabihin natin, okay, so, medyo nag-lag ang ating computer. Well, ayun. Okay, so, with that, sabihin po natin na missing at birth ang index finger niya. Okay? So, ano po ang ilalagay natin pag missing at birth? Okay? Ang ilalagay po dyan is, okay, so let's say the finger number 2 is, finger number 2 is amputated. Okay? So, sabihin natin, ang finger number 2 is amputated. AMP. Okay, kung hindi naman amputated, ang gagawin natin is FMB kung yan ay finger missing at birth. Okay, so ano yung ruling? Sabihin natin index finger ay putol. Okay, amputated siya. So anong gagawin? Ang susundin po natin is the opposite finger. Okay, the classification based on the opposite finger. Okay, so yan po Ano po yung opposite finger ng ating right index finger? Siyempre, ang opposite finger po niya is yung left index finger natin. Okay, so ano ang magiging classification na niya? So, parehas po sila ng pattern. Okay, so radial loop po ang magiging pattern niya. Okay, so ganun po yung gagawin natin. Same as to the opposite finger. Pero yung numerical values po niya ay hindi natin babaguhin. Okay, kaya kapag i-compute po natin, ano po ang finger number 2 natin? Okay, finger number 2 sa numerator, mababago na po kasi radial loop. Amputated siya. Ang susundin po natin as yung itong opposite finger. Kaya magiging 0 na po yung ating finger number 2, yung numerical value niya. Kasi hindi po siya whirl. Okay? So, ganun po. Ganun po yung effect ng ganun po yung magiging effect kapag yan po ay amputated or finger missing at birth. Okay? Kaya magiging 0 na siya. And then, ano ang magiging sagot? Okay? So, instead of 20, magiging 4 na lang po yung equivalent niya. Okay? So, magiging 4 na lang po siya. So, 4 over 21. Okay? So, with that, hindi na po 21 over 22, but 5 over 22 na po yung primary classification niya. Okay? So, paano naman kapag ano siya? Paano naman po kapag amputated pareho? Okay, so they will be treated as whirl, okay, with the respective numerical value and with meeting tracing. Okay, so ganun po yung mangyayari. So automatic po they are treated as whirl pattern. So ang ibig sabihin po nun, let's try to have here again. Okay, baguhin po ulit natin. Sabihin natin parehas silang amputated. Okay? So, hindi po natin babaguhin yung respective numerical value pa rin. Okay? Same pa rin naman po. So, with that, ang mangyayari, sabihin natin, finger missing at birth yung isa. FMB. Finger missing at birth po ito. And then, amputated sa kabila. So, parehas, wala tayong basis. Okay? Opposite finger or both of them, they don't have a pattern because they are amputated and finger missing at birth. So, walang basis. So, ano yung sabi sa rule? Okay, they are treated already as a whole with their respective numerical value and with meeting tracing. So, i-consider natin that is a whole and kaya ang mangyari, ang gagawin natin, mapapalitan na naman to. Okay, so magiging 16 kasi sabi nga natin, this is considered to be as 4 with meeting tracing and ganun din po sa baba. Okay, yung finger number 7 po natin. So, finger number 7, what's the equivalent? Okay, finger number 7, instead na 0 kanina kasi radial, ngayon ang mangyayari ay papalitan po natin siya with the respective numerical value. Okay, so considered as whirl na po siya. So, ang mangyayari dyan is numerical value niya is 2. Okay, kaya mababago na naman po ang ating computation dito sa dulo. Okay, so ang magiging sagot po natin is 16 plus 4. Okay, that is 20 plus 1, arbitrary count. That is why 21 over 16 plus 4 plus 2. Okay, 22 plus 1. Okay, 23 plus arbitrary count of 1. That is why 24. Okay, so magiging ganun na po yung fingerprint classification natin on the primary classification. Okay, so yun po yung kailangan natin ding tandaan when it comes to primary classification. Okay, so overall, yun po yung sa primary classification. So sa next video po natin, ang ipipresent po naman natin is with regards to secondary classification. Kasi isa pa lang yung nabubuo natin, na-attain natin sa classification formula, which is primary classification. Okay, so with that, I hope that this video helped you understanding more on primary classification. So, for the next video, we are going to have secondary classification. So, this time, thank you very much for watching and see you next time.